Because they had everyone go up.
I went up to Taco Peppers because we can have our situation up there that if our community has to be away from their houses for a little while, then we got one of those container things that has all of a bunch of, yes, it's all in there. But I didn't, Hummingbird Street, way up there, Street, we have wood on it. And so that's where it is. I just, we're all wet, that's what I thought.
But it is nice to
No,
I thought it was gonna want to take
lots of cars like that.
I do always think that amazing.
Nobody was panicking, nobody was in a hurry, nobody was speeding. So I was pretty well messed up the whole day.
Isla.
Yeah, I think all three of you guys are meant to
Just I hope that will not see what and is the way you have to shape with this. I think it's who purchased it is the shot. You cook who cook this month. Who ani hit up liwa aku mamu ko siya protection sitla yakiso ata hit katso ken mamuk no wexo o mexo ani so hachatak opi incha nak kan Jumata so man quit looks cheek shit was so arctic shit hopo at huge hopo at hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you for coming again to learn with us. I acknowledge the Hupachasad and Sasha people on whose land we are and Huayet for opening their office to us. In this room we respect each other and we help each other. You can try and make mistakes here, and that is how you get better and learn to speak Nuchano. Let's speak Nuchano. Tonight we are, last week we tried live streaming the class and learned how that worked. And we're gonna, are we live streaming now on Facebook, Brittany?
Well, we're live streaming through YouTube right now, but I just shared it to my Facebook profile for those who would like to share it themselves. You can find me Brittany Danielle Marie Johnson, because I'm really proud of all my names. So if you'd like to find the live stream tonight and take a look through it, you can find it on Facebook as well as YouTube.
So please be aware that if you're in the front half of the room, the back of your head is being live streamed right now. If you don't feel comfortable being on camera, you can sit in the back. But that's right. Don't talk.
Yeah, so everything you're saying.
Some of the feedback we got last night is that a lot of people could use more table space, and we're working on that, but we don't have enough tables for everyone. But we're hopefully going to get better at that week by week. But the purpose of this class is not so much to write as it is to speak. So you don't absolutely need to write things down. It's more important to listen and to speak. The goal tonight is to review our basic greetings and our basic classroom language, and to learn some words for common classroom items. I also have an announcement about your donations. Currently, Huayet is donating our space and our coffee. The school district has been and is continuing to donate copying costs for the papers we hand out. So we're using your donations to provide food for the meetings. That's how we're gonna, that's how we plan to use your donations for the rest of the term. Is that right, Lisa?
Yes.
Does anyone?
That's all right with the group.
And if you have any other thoughts about how the donation should be used, you can let me or Lisa or Peggy know. I sent a link around this morning. I told you last week that I would try to do that well ahead of the class, And today I managed to do that a few hours ahead. So I'm gonna try to get better at that, at sending out those materials earlier. But did anyone follow the links and try out the webpage?
Yep.
And did anyone have trouble making it work? This webpage has been up since last term, but I added more content today.
Oh, okay.
So this is one of the new phrases I added. And I found that it works on my laptop, but not on my phone. So no one else found that it didn't work on their device?
On this it works.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so there's some with his voice, with Benson's voice and your voice, right?
That's right.
Down to we're finished?
Right.
Okay.
How many people practiced these phrases before class? You didn't get the email?
My partner is you. So you say, I say, you say.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah, I forgot to bring my computer tonight, but I'll double check the address I have for you. Did you get it, Shane? Okay. Yeah, and it bounced, the message bounced from your account, Brittany.
Yes.
And that might be because it had so many recipients?
No, it was just today. Our office was actually closed today, so I had my automatic reply out for out of office today.
Okay, so if I don't get back to you about that soon, Cynthia, please send me a reminder. So I'd like to quickly review what we're gonna study tonight and then send you right away to practice with a partner and see how that works for us tonight. I'll begin by talking about the date, then the main words that we're gonna be learning, and then we'll get into our practice. Akakha Nas. Akakha Nas. What is the day? Akakha Nas. Mujit Akma. Mujit Akma. It's Thursday. Mujit Akma. Akaat. Unachit Akma. Unachitat Akha. What is the day of the month? Unachitat Akha. Zapid Ish Suchachitat. It's the 25th. Zapid Ish Suchachitat. Zapid Ish Suchachitat Akma. It is the 25th. Zapid Ish Suchachitat. Zapid Ish Suchachitat Suk Akma. Ma Mipsu. It is the 25th of January. Ma Mipsu Ukta Tukni Upat. Our current month is called Ma Mipsu, January. Ma Mipsu literally means older sibling. And we'll,
Sorry, I was like, that's not my ground letter.
Do you have that on your devices?
December is Yukwipsu, younger sibling, and January is Ma Mipsu. And the usual explanation I've heard for that is that January comes first, so it's the older sibling. December comes last, so it's the younger sibling. These are some of the words we're going to learn tonight. I've written them in your channels, but not in English. And I thought that we pronounce them together, and then I'll get you to help me fill in what they mean. First, let's say them together. Pitsya. 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 Pipa. Pipa. Pipa.
Pipa.
Nachatyak.
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 Natnatnityak.
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 Pitsatsim.
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 Hawatsatim.
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 Quasatus.
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 Ahex.
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 Chishu.
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 Help me define these words. Let's start from the back. Who can tell me what chishu is in English?
Bathroom.
Yeah, washroom. Chishu. Someone said pooping place. That's right. Yeah, literally pooping place. Chish is the poop, and what is a place? Chishu. Ahex. Box. Quasatus. 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 Quasatus ma'ah. Quasatus ma'ah. This is a chair. Quasatus. Some of you are noticing that this sounds similar to tekwas, but there's actually no connection between those words. The word tekwas meaning to sit has a Q. Tekwas means sitting on a platform, such as a chair or a table. Kwasitsos has a round K, so there's no connection. The root of tekwas literally means sit. The root of kwasitsos means to do this, to back up, because that's how we sit in chairs. We go like that. Ha-wat-satsim. Ha-wat-satsim. Who can define this word for me? It has to do with eating. You know the word ha'ok? Yeah? Yes, Allison? That's right. Yeah, so it's literally an eating table. Okay? Peitzatsim. Peitzatsim. Akakha peitzatsim. What is peitzatsim? It does have to do with writing. The root pitz means to write. It's not a book, it's a desk.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, so notice the similarity between peitzatsim and ha'watzatsim. Peitzatsim is a surface for writing, ha'watzatsim is a surface for eating. So table and desk. Nananichyak. Book. Nachatyak is also book. Nachatyak is the most general word for book across the Channel Territory, but here in the Barkley Sound region, the word Nananichyak is also used. Nananichyak, these both mean book. Literally, they mean for reading. Nachat means reading, Nananich means reading, Yak means for the purpose of. Nachat yak for reading, Nananich yak for reading. Pipa. Paper. Hits yak. Yeah, pen or pencil. Or paintbrush. Anything that we write with. There are some tricks that can help you remember these words. Pitsyuk and Peitzatsim have the same root because they both have to do with writing. Nachatyak and Nanatnichyak have the root for seeing, Nuch. The root Nuch means to see. And by extension, Nachat means looking at a surface or reading. Nananich means looking, scanning something back and forth. Which is also used for reading. But they're both based on the root for to see. Nachu'at, when we say I'll see you later, one of the ways to say that is Uyakta Nachu'at Su'wa. I'll see you later. Nachu'at, same root as Nachat and Nananich. Ha-watsatzim has the same root as ha'uk, the word for eating, ha'uk, eating, ha-watsatzim, an eating surface. Kwasitsus means a surface for backing up into. And notice that kwasitsus, ha'watzatsim, and peitzatsim all have the ending suts. Suts is an ending that means a surface. Desks, tables, and chairs are all surfaces. Tahex, box. The ending ks, the qs at the end, is an ending for vessels. That is, things that hold water in or hold water out. Boxes were used in the old days for cooking. Boxes would be, watertight boxes would be filled with water, hot stones would be dropped in to boil the water, and that would be used to cook food. And that's probably where the name Tlax comes from the fact that they were used for cooking. And we've talked about what the name Chishuk means. So we want to learn the names for these things. Once we know the names for these classroom objects, we're going to put them into simple sentences. Let's take a look at our classroom, our basic classroom conversations, and then I will talk about how we're going to use the names for these classroom objects in sentences. Our classroom conversations start with 11. Let's all try it. What is this? Akakha means what is it? Hayaka. I don't know. Kwekusi. What it is. Hayaka kwekusi.
Hayaka Kwekusi.
I don't know what it is. Hayaka kwekusi. The reason we learn this first is because at the beginning, we don't know what anything is called, so this is what we're gonna have to say in answer to the question, what is it? Eventually, we're gonna learn the names for everything, and we'll be able to give a better answer.
Just a question, does haya mean, can you break that down?
Yeah, haya'ak means to not know. It's the opposite of ho'tak.
I don't know.
There are lots of verbs in Nuchanov where there's a positive version and a negative version that are unrelated.
Okay.
And this is one of them. The root of haya'ak is hay, and hay, the root hay is used for words that have to do with being crazy or not knowing something, like being out of your head. So hayukshit means to go crazy, and hayichut means to be dizzy, and haya'ak means to not know.
Okay.
Another way to say not know is hayimhe. So all these words have the same root, hay, which refers to not being right in the head.
Right.
Hayaka, I don't know. Okay, our next phrase is wei. Wei. If you have a device and you know the URL, you can be following along on your device. If you have the paper version of our survival conversations, you can follow along on that as well. Or you can try to keep all of this in your head, which is the best way to learn. Wei is something that an instructor will say to you a lot in the language classroom, because we're learning words and I want you to say them a lot, so I'll say to you wei.
Is that to one person?
That's right. How would we tell more than one person to say it? Wei each. Wei each. Yeah, wei each. Good.
So I.
Yes, the vowels in wei are long. Yeah, make this bigger. Is that better?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Wei.
Say it. And then when we're practicing this phrase, your partner will respond, chu wa akta.
Chua.
Okay, I will say, chu wa akta. This is an example of a survival conversation where the first member, wei, is the one that we're really trying to learn. That's the one that we use a lot in the classroom. The second one, chu wa akta, is not so commonly used. We're learning it in order to support the learning of the first one, so that we can practice this in pairs. One person says wei, the other responds chu wa akta.
And there's the two E's turns to two A's, is that the same verb?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the verb is wa, meaning to say. When we say wa by itself, it has a long A. But when we add the ending E, the A becomes an E. And that's a process that we call umlaut. Basically, you might remember we discussed the vowel triangle last time. I, U, A. I, U, and A are at the extreme ends of the vowel triangle. And what's happening in this word is that an A and an I are separated only by a glottal stop, which is a very weak consonant. And A and I are considered too different from each other to be that close to each other. So one of them becomes more like the other. E is halfway between A and I on the vowel triangle. The name of this class is another example. Speaking Nuchanov is ko atsa. It ends in a short A. Ko atsa. But when we add the ending in, which has an I in it, it becomes ko atse in. Ko atse in. That's another example of umlaut. Chamut has such a chisha. May I go to the washer? Chamut has. May I? Chamut has. Utsachit. To go to. Utsachit. Chisha. Washer. Chisha. Chamut has. Utsachit. Chisha. If you're a beginner, you might find you have a lot of trouble saying all of these difficult sounds together in one sentence. So you'll have to start slowly. Say it as slowly as you need to, and you can gradually get faster with practice. And you can listen to Benson say it as many times as you need to. You may. Wasakchi. Go on. Wasakchi. Hooks atu akhen. This word is a mouthful, and the sound that people most frequently skip is the X. So let's go through it slowly. Hooks atu akhen. Hooks atu akhen. Will we rest? Shall we take a break? Hooks atu akhen. And the response? Hooks atu in. Let's say this one by syllables too. Hooks atu in. Hooks atu in. Let's rest. Let's take a break. Hooks atu in. If you have a strong English accent, as many of us do, you'll feel an urge to drop the X and to drop this glottal stop. But those are an important part of how the word is pronounced. So you might have to force yourself to speak slowly and to pronounce all of those sounds. Hooks atu in.
Hooks atu in.
And it might sound like Benson saying it fast, but he's actually speaking slowly and carefully too. And at fluent speed, that will usually be said even faster. Are we finished? Back H, hard K. Are we finished? And the response? We're finished. These two sentences, hasikatlen, are we finished? And hasikatlen, we're finished, are only one letter different. What's the letter that's different between them? Yeah, the back H and hasikatlen. That back H tells us that this is a question. Hasikatlen. The lack of the back H tells us that this is a statement.
I have a hard time with that the back H. If it comes after the bar lambda thing, I sometimes leave out that the
Yes.
back H.
Yeah, Lisa was just complaining about that too. So, yeah, the bar lambda is difficult, the back H is difficult, to say them right next to each other is even harder, right? So this is another word that you might have to say very slowly, and some of you might not be able to hit the bar lambda yet.
I can try.
So I have, in our debriefing in the second hour, if you're still having trouble with the bar lambda or other sounds, please bring that up, and I have some tricks that might help you to say it. But generally speaking, the best way to learn how to say these words at fluent speed is to break them into syllables and say them as slowly as you need to. The barred lambda and the back H are in different syllables. So if you pronounce this word by syllables, they won't be right next to each other. Ha, si, kat, hen.
That's
Ha,
what I.
si, kat, hen. In the response, hasikatan, there's no back H there, so the bar lambda is no longer at the end of the syllable, instead it's at the beginning of the last syllable. Ha, si, ka, tin. Ha, si, ka, tin. Ha, si, ka, tin.
Yeah.
Do you mean is it the
The
same?
same idea that it's just the one letter difference in.
Mhm.
The back.
Yeah, although, yes, Yeah, yeah, is another example of a question and a statement, and a response that's a statement. Question uses the question mood, the answer uses the real mood. In this case, they're a little more than one letter different, but they're pretty close. Yeah, it's a very similar case. So when we practice these, I'm going to try to put you in groups where you're similar in skill. If you are a beginner and you're struggling, then I encourage you to focus just on 11 for now. If these are easy, then you can go on. You can go as far as you find these easy and you know all the conversations well enough to say them without reading. So if you're able to go on with your partner, then you may. But if you're struggling, then stick with Okay, let's use conversation 11 to talk about objects in the classroom. First of all, let's pretend that I'm quizzing you and you don't know what anything is called. Okay? True? True. Now, you're going to continue to pretend not to know anything, but I'm going to tell you what things are called, okay?
Okay.
Kids yuck. Kids yuck. Where each kids yuck. Where each kids yuck. Kids yuck ma. It is a pen. Kids yuck ma. Good. So now I'm using the ending ma. Ma is a mood ending. Just by adding this tiny ending to the word, I'm turning it into a complete sentence. Pits yuck is just a word. Pits yuck. Pen. Pits yuck. But when I add ma to it, it's a complete sentence. Pits yuck ma. It is a pen. Pits yuck ma. There's a lot to say about mood in Nuu-chah-nulth. Mood is a very fundamental and very important category in Nuu-chah-nulth. The purpose of mood is to complete the sentence. So once you have a mood ending in a sentence, it's complete. Also, the mood ending tells us something about who's doing the action. In this case, the form of the ending ma tells us that the sentence is about a he, she, or an it. In this case, an it. It is a pen. Also, the mood tells us whether the sentence is a question, statement, or command. In this case, we're using the real mood. The real mood is used to make statements of fact. So if I tell you pits yakma, it is a pen, I'm letting you know that this is a statement, and I'm also implying that I know this to be true. If I had just heard this from someone else or I were guessing at it, I would have to use a different mood or another different ending. Let's try this with some other words. Pipa. Where each pipa. Where each pipa. Pipama. It is paper. Pipama. Chuch. Akakaku. Nachahyak. Book. Nachahyak. Where each nachahyak. Nachahyakma. It is a book. Nachahyakma. Nachahyakma ahku. This is a book. Nachahyakma ahku. Akakha ahku. Pete Satsim. Desk. Pete Satsim. Where each Pete Satsim. Keitsetsimma.
Keitsetsimma.
It is a desk. Keitsetsimma.
Keitsetsimma.
Keitsetsimma ahku.
Keitsetsimma aku.
This is a desk. Keitsetsimma ahku.
How would you spell that one? Keitsetsimma. Oh, it is a,
Keitsetsimma
yeah,
ahku.
okay, but I meant the ma, you got two M's then together?
Yes, you'll have two M's in a row.
That's okay.
Keitsetsimma. Just like roommate. Akaka ahku. Hawatsetsimma.
Hawatsetsimma.
Hawatsetsimma ahku.
Hawatsetsimma aku.
Akaka ahku. Ahaksma.
Ahaksma.
It is a box. Ahaksma ahku.
Ahaksma aku.
True. Yes, Trina? Teepin. Teepin is another way to say table.
Okay.
So that's teepin. That word, like peepaw, is borrowed from English.
So it sounds similar.
Or are they different kind of tables? Because you said that was an eating table. So is teepin a different kind of table or is it an eating table?
Well, as I understand it, we can use teepin and nuchannel for anything we would call a table in English.
Okay.
But hawatsetsim and keitsetsim are more specific. Keitsetsim is something we write on. Hawatsetsim is something we eat on.
Okay.
So, keitsetsim ahku, this is a writing surface. Hawatsetsim ahku, this is an eating surface. So I'm gonna pair you up. You're gonna practice conversation 11 with your partner. You should do it at least 3 times in each direction. Practice it as scripted first. Once you're comfortable with it as scripted, then start asking about things around you and responding to your partner about what things are called. Keitsetsimma, hawatsetsimma, kitsyakma, peepama. It is paper. It is pen. It is a table. It is a desk. If those are easy, then you can go on to further conversation. But I expect that most of you will focus on 11 and learning these 8 classroom words. Your hand up, June?
Did you pair us up this week or are we still?
I'm gonna pair you up right now. So, let's practice, Brittany and Lisa, Cynthia and Jody,
He's gonna pair us.
Caitlin and Shane,
We're fine with him.
Allison and Mario, Pam and Giles, Darren and Sarita, Sheena and Zach, Heather and Marty, David and Angie and Laura. I'll give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes is enough for a lot. 10 minutes.
We're starting with number 11. Number 11 first.
Mine too, so maybe we'll be on the same one.
Is Laura your mom? What's your name?
So we got
I'm sorry? Junkie? Right. Okay. This will you practice with Marty and Heather? You're studying
So you're
too,
doing
right?
11 these.
You're learning.
We'll make you work.
How do you spell your name?
She said do that part after we come from what is A&D. Okay, A&D. Yeah, just go to D&D.
You drop it by the which don't feel bad about that. That's really hard to get.
I can get around on words that are really. Heather's just like your brother's.
Yeah.
I can get it when I'm really nervous.
So the best advice I got was that my HCC was trying to say that's okay. Because the way you rush through is English. And the second thing is you're just talking in your glasses.
Very small.
Same thing. All right, you want to practice with
I'll bring some here. I'll bring some.
Okay.
We'll bring it.
Okay.
No, I mean, you can put it inside the.
I just want to keep doing this part.
Yep.
So that was Haya Akaha Kekusi. I don't write it down. Okay, where's it?
So you can answer me.
Okay. Okay.
This one it is.
Okay. Here we go next. Am I asking right now? Okay. I'm saying it better now. Okay.
I could say, the other thing I would say, to make it easier, I could say.
Okay. What was that then?
Do you want to try it out? Yes.
Let's just do a lower.
Yeah. So we'll do it separate now.
Oh, yeah.
But when you do it.
One of the things about the .h is that it takes a lot of effort to say. It's like one of the most effortful things. And I think like, why should it take so much work to say that? Well, it just does.
Yeah, that's one syllable to say it separately. That helps. So sometimes like where it doesn't belong to.
We don't have.
Ask me like,
This, well, the first I'm jumping. You're not saying yeah, you're saying
True.
You ask me now. Here's that. Yep.
It's slowing down. It's slowing down.
Yeah, it is. It's slowing down usually.
Keep that simple.
Just learn which countries are saying. There's no W. Yeah, so it's like a, you know, so the keyboard is like a K. Yeah. So clicks. It takes some time. K and Q is, I was thinking about this the other day, I think K and Q is more significant than it's extremely important, and it's unfortunate for us if we grew up with English. Very good.
I did.
True, Mata. Is the but it could be.
What was the other one that you said?
So it's
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So this should be one word. Not like yeah.
How what's it in how what's it in this card? How what's it in
What's I think it's already
So this would be what's
that's just
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's got two M's.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Okay, so then.
What are the words? Yeah, very good. I should have gone with people.
Okay, let's come back together.
I think this helps. It really does, yeah.
I erased some of the words off the board. Which some people protested, but I said, you forget, ask me. We're learning how to ask about things orally. So you just it's good to practice not being able to depend on writing and instead having to ask someone for information.
How do you say, can you help me again? I do that with the kids, but
Who is help me.
Okay, anything is, okay.
Who is Sakshi, help me please. Sakshi is to please help me. There are ways to say it. The simplest way is who is.
And then that needs to come when we say that. He just said it, so that's the eating one.
See, there's a bar. Najah Yakma. Najah Yakma Aku. Speak it, you're saying it right.
That means it's a box.
Aku.
Oh, what is that? It's a book that it's a box.
Kate Satima. It's a desk. Kate Satima Aku. Aku.
Oh, that's a chair.
It's a chair. Aku. Ibama. It's paper. Ibama. Aku. Hits Yakma. Hits Yakma. Aku. Okay, I'm gonna give you some more pieces to practice with. If this task is easy for you now, that's easy for you. Here's some other things you can mix in. Use the ending ha. Ha is a simple question ending. Pipa ha, is it paper? Pipa ha. Ha pipa ma. Yes, it's paper. Ha pipa ma. Ahaksma. Ahaksma. Ha, what sets in ha? Is it a table? Ha, what sets in ha? Ha, what sets in ha? Ha, what sets in ha? Wick.
Qua setsosma.
Qua setsosma. It's a chair. Qua setsosma. Okay. That's one task you can add in. Now, next try using ka'a. Ka'a is a simple word that means gimme. You John. Ka'a is a special word. It doesn't require a mood ending to make a complete sentence. So I can say things like ka'a na chahya. With ma ni na chahya. That's not a book. Ka'a pitsyak. Lisa, ka'a pipa. True. Pipama. Okay, so try mixing in ha, ma, and ka'a. I'll give you 5 more minutes to practice. Yes, Allison?
Just a quick question, is that connected to the answer saying ha?
No connection.
Okay.
Because ha meaning yes is a plain H.
Okay.
Ha, the ending ha is a back H,
Sorry.
so totally different.
Sorry.
Yeah, and ha means something like is it, and ma means it is. Okay, I'll give you 5 more minutes with your same groups. Go ahead.
What's both of them make sense, but one is a question, one is a
So that one, that's the first one. Right now, to get started. How about if you start at the
True.
When you're adding, just saying, it is this.
Yeah, all means this.
Okay, so
Yeah, so you just paper this. This is paper.
okay, now you gotta answer the one that's
The top is oh, so if you want to say small, it's like with ma, none of niche is standing. None of niche is for standing. None of niche with ma, none of niche.
So they're both books, you said, but then that's, is it a book for reading and this is a book for writing?
Nope, they're both reading.
So you're asking if that has a book? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. And so with mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mean the same thing.
that
All
one I
neutral
used
parts
it.
is like a chocolate. But only people care about the sound. Maybe, and maybe only.
That one used because he was
I
like.
don't know if you
I
do
always
this.
said
This might just be, but this is definitely like.
So we have, so we do the full answer again when we say with mom, mama.
And then
Do we have to say?
You can. If you add it, that's saying this is not a book, but if you don't add it, then you're just saying it's this one.
Okay, okay.
True. Yeah, that's the university. But I mean, I can tell you.
You were words are in there, so you can't answer it unless you have to.
Well, you have to remember.
I know, I do, I'm not.
Yeah, you're saying it right.
That's very good.
What's the one besides the question? You have another one there to try.
I feel like it's.
The papa?
Like that one word you said.
Oh, ka'a. Ka'a pizza. Anisu,
What would we say here? How would I say here is a pencil? Say, okay, this is.
Oh, this is, okay, so I'll give it to you,
Yeah, let's do that way.
Okay.
So, I'll tell you about some questions I got about ka'a. Someone asked, some people asked if you can add release to that, and yes, you can. I can say ka'a nachatya, give me a book, ka'a nachatya. I can throw in thakshit as well. Thakshit is how we say please. Ka'a nachatya thakshit. Give me a book, please. Ka'a nachatya thakshit. If you want to put give me inside a bigger sentence, like can you give me a book, then you're not going to be able to use ka'a. Ka'a is a special standalone word. It doesn't fit into larger sentences. So if you want to make a bigger sentence like can you give me a book, you have to use another word for give like uyi. Uyi is another word for give that does fit into larger sentences. Chamuthak uyi sitya nachatya. Can you give me a book? Chamuthak uyi sitya nachatya.
Tell me the easy version you did before that.
Ka'a nachatya sakshit. Give me a book, please. Ka'a nachatya.
I'm just wondering if I've heard that as I was growing up. I'm trying to think if I heard that. It sounded familiar.
Yes, Caitlin?
Yeah, at school, when Lena gives us things to take, she says, "Ma, like take it." So can we do that too? And
Yes.
say, "Give me your pen," or "Give me a pen."
Yes, ma is a good thing to say when you're giving something to someone.
Oh. Okay.
The technical term for words like this is interjections. Interjection is a technical term for words that stand by themselves and mean something. Examples of interjections in English are hello, hey, come on. These are interjections. Ma, ka, and chu are examples of interjections in Nuchano. Chu, okay, let's move on. See you later. Ma, here you go. Ka, gimme. Yes.
You just talked about ui, and I've learned that ui is, we've used it like with the seasons, like it is becoming, so is that the same ui?
No. So this is another case of two similar sounding but totally different words. Yeah. Uyi with a long I means to give, but uyi with a short I means at that time. So ka uyi is this one. So when someone asks for something, ka nachakya, it's appropriate to say ma when you hand it to them. And just like chu, when you hand something to more than one person, you can say mach. Mach, here you guys go. Chooch, bye you guys. We're using the word ahku, which means this or here. Ahku is a pointer word. Nuchano has more pointer words than English does. English has just 2 pointer words, this and that. This is for things that are closer to us. That is for things that are further from us. In Nuchano, there's 4 degrees of distance distinguished by pointer words. Ahku points to something that's close to me. Ahku, ahku. Ahni points to something that's closer to someone else than to me. So if I wanted Shane to give me that paper, which is closer to him, I might say, ka ahni. Give me that, that's closer to you. But if I were talking about something that's closer to me, I would call it ahku. Ahku. What is this? Closer to me. Ya is close to neither one of us. So if I didn't know that person, I might ask Shane, achakhaya, who's that person? Achakhaya. And ye is for something very far away. Achakhaya, who's that person way over there? Achakhaya. So we're not going to try to learn these all at once, but I'm running over them because these are very common words, and I want you to be able to recognize them when you see them. Let's practice saying them. Ahku. Ahku. And point as well to help yourself remember what it points to. Ahku. Ahku. Something close to me. Ahni. Ahni. Something closer to you than to me. Ahni. Ahni. Yeah. I'm sorry. Ya. Ya. Something not close to either one of us. Ya. Ya. Yeah. Yeah. Something far away. Yeah. Yeah. Good. I have, yes, Serena?
Sorry, is that all me? Does that not have a backage? But
Oh, it does have a backage, sorry. I often forget to bar my lambdas and underline my H's. But it is a backage. I have a couple of certificates to hand out from last term. One is for Marnie, and one is for Zach. Both of them spent 16 hours with us last term, and hopefully even more this term. Jude Fuchs to Arkan. Fuchs to Arkan. Fuchs to in. Let's take a break. Fuchs to in 5 minutes. Start again at 7.
I know that one great.
So is elective, I assume, challenge course? How many students do you have there?
I had 22, 19, and 18 last year.
So you have 2 separate classes? Okay.
So I would grade 10 plus grade 12. And then
Yes. Okay, the conversational like this one?
Yes. Well, no, the
okay.
yeah, the kind of binder.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so they, yeah, I
Well,
thought
because
I
I
got.
have this is like my.
But the thing is, I'm getting more comfortable reading, I just need to get away from the paper and just do this.
Yeah.
Do
Okay, and this is what you were showing us last week, but I haven't had any
we were like, you're gonna have to get, you can do this for 5 minutes and so what now?
You know what I've been doing here?
So what did he say? And I was doing 5 minutes. I just do it in the morning, and I start my routine.
Okay.
So does it, can you go back for a second? He says the questions and then the answers.
Yeah, he
Just
said
like
to
the
me,
conversations are.
But I can roll, I can read, and all day long, that's what I get. I got it down to these pieces. I thought these was kind of getting better at them, and I still like, I had one down per week.
But you're right, I need to do this for 5 minutes.
Yeah, because it's all.
In the middle of the day, supposed to do the mark class or
And still, we take care of it, I can find one.
Oh, this is good, because this is, reading, I'm getting, I'm confident reading.
This one's, yeah, and it helps me also when I have to have this break. Because it helps me, like, you know, I have to, but then I'm addiction, you have to break by myself. Yeah, see, there it is.
That's a lot more versatile than it looked.
someone from the school.
Yeah. I can see if I can add my own. You can add it, you said I did that, I had my own one because I didn't know.
Sure.
She was creating this one.
I can't be there.
No, we can't sign it out.
And this is what I created. I
have no idea. Nobody was like this. Nobody was thinking of this.
So you set up your own?
The people who might be subscribers might be could be either one. All the walnuts.
Who knows what's in there? I would say
So we can do it.
But I really like the
So that's
Well, as long as like someone from the high school.
And that's what it is, I just need something. I need more repetition.
And then
I'm gonna go try to.
I'm starting to work on the social science.
Which I'm happy about is there's another word that sounds like that.
One of the nations I
So I'm happy with
I'm ready for
Yeah.
So I think I can actually.
Oh, right. So for you, cool. I learned this history. Our plan is so this is the same
And the same thing, and yeah. And okay, so my uncle who
Imagine little cheerleaders off the
Because I'm working
So there is like a video.
Okay, cool. That's great.
I'm getting
Okay,
ready
great.
for time to work full time in the first semester.
She's saying this.
It's like,
Now I'm thinking, well, how do you speed up?
That's
great.
That's awesome. But that was actually so much fun. Kids, I was like, come
All right, let's talk about mood endings. Once you understand even a little bit about mood endings, it actually expands the number of things you can say in your journal. This is from the supplement, which is available online. If you don't know how to find it, you can always email me and I'll send you the link. There are about 20 moods in Nuchannel, but they're not all used with the same frequency. We learn first the ones that are used the most. The ones that are used with the most frequency include the real mood, which is used for statements, the question mood, which is used for questions, the command mood, which is used for commands, as well as a few other very frequent moods like the hearsay mood, the weak mood, the definite mood. If you know just these three moods, real, question, and command, you can say quite a lot of things. These are the endings of the real mood in the Barclay Sound dialects. The endings are ma, me, its, ma, min, me, itsu, ma. These are used for statements. Let's practice this with some statements. Give me an action word. Mamuk, meaning working. I am working. Mamukwa. Try it. Mamukwa. You are working. Mamukwa is. He or she is working. Mamukma. We are working. Mamukwin. You all are working. Mamukwaitsu. They are working. Mamukma'at. You'll see that some of these endings have an M in parentheses. That M is only pronounced when it's needed, usually after a vowel or after M or N, which are very vowel-like consonants. So let's use another action word that will require these endings. Let's use na'a. Na'a means to hear. Na'a. I hear. Na'ama. You hear. Na'ameitz. He or she hears. Na'ama. We hear. Na'amin. You all hear. Na'ameitzu. They hear. Na'ama'at. Are you getting the idea? Let's look at the question mood. The endings of the question mood begin with back H's. They're pronounced has, ha, ha, hen, hasu, ha. So let's use the same word, na'a, to hear. Do I hear? Na'ahas.
Na'ahas.
Do you hear? Na'ahak.
Na'ahak.
Does he or she hear? Na'aha.
Na'ahak.
Do we hear? Na'ahen.
Na'ahen.
Do you all hear? Na'ahasu.
Na'ahasu.
Do they hear? Na'aha'ah.
Na'ahah.
So you see that the mood that we choose not only completes the sentence, it says whether we're making a statement or asking a question, and it also says who we're talking about, me, you, he or she, we, you all, or they. Another one of the very important moods is the command mood. There are lots of command mood endings. The basic command mood ending is E. When I add E to something, it means that I'm telling you to do it. We. Say it. Na'atahi.
Na'atahi.
Listen. Manukui. Try it. If I'm giving a command to more than one person, the ending will be each. We each. Say it, you all. Na'atahich. Listen, you all. Manukuich. Try it, you all. If I want to say let's do it, the ending will be in. We're in. Let's say it. Na'atah in. Let's listen. Manukuin. Let's try. So now we're gonna look at the classroom conversations, and we're gonna try to identify the mood endings. These are all complete sentences. So every one of these sentences has a mood ending that completes the sentence. Let's start with akaka'aku. First, we'll say it together. Akaka'aku. What is this? What's the mood ending in akaka'aku? The ha, right? That's the mood ending. It tells us that this is a question and that it's about an it. Haya'akahkukosi. I don't know what it is. Where's the mood ending? Right. This says it's a statement about I. Haya'aka. I don't know. There's actually a second mood ending in the sentence. Usi is also a mood ending. That's what I call the unknown mood. This is a sentence within a sentence. I don't know what it is. What it is a sentence embedded inside a larger sentence. So they both require a mood ending. We'i. Say it. Where's the mood ending? Right. Juwa'akta. Okay, I'll say it. Where's the mood ending? Right. Jamut hasut sachik chishu. May I go to the washroom? Where's the mood ending? Right. Jamuta'itz. Wathakchi. Where's the mood ending? It's has a mood ending. Jamuta'itz. You may. What mood is it? Real mood, right. It's a statement. You may. Wathakchi is also a complete sentence. Chi is also a command ending. Chi is a special command ending that means go do it. When I say we'i, it means say it. If I said wachi, I would mean go say it. Yuchanov actually has 4 command moods: the basic command mood, the go do it command mood, the come and do it command mood, and the do it in the future command mood. Shall we take a break? What's the mood ending? Right. Question mood. In. Let's take a break. Where's the mood ending? In. Right. Command mood. Hasikaten. Where's the mood ending? In. Right. Question mood. Are we done? Hasikaten. We're finished. Where's the mood ending? In. Right. What mood is it?
Real?
It's not real. It is. Sorry, it is real.
Yeah.
I say it's not real, but I know it's not the commandment. I often think one thing and say something.
I know what you're doing.
Good. So it's good for you to start. We're running over these endings so that you can start to recognize mood endings when they come up. That will help you understand what the parts of the sentence mean, so that you're not just memorizing 15 sounds in a row. Instead, you're learning 2 or 3 word parts in a row. It's the process of learning sentence. In our second hour, I would like us to practice all 5 of the survival conversations for classroom. David and I demonstrated how I recommend that you practice these conversations. The procedure is that one partner reads says the A lines, the other partner says the B lines, and you do each conversation at least 3 times in a row. Your goal is to do it well 3 times in a row. So if you do it poorly, you can keep doing it until you have 3 good repetitions. We do it at least 3 times in a row because that starts to work it into your brain to help you remember. If you only do it once or twice, that's not enough to remember. I recommend that you go from 11 through 15 with the same partners being A versus B. Once you've gone all the way through, then you switch roles. A becomes B, B becomes A, and then start from the top again and do each conversation at least 3 times in a row. We'll practice. Do we want to practice them all together, or do you feel confident with this resource and your partner to do that on your own? Yes, Serena?
Can you do audio-ish? What's that?
All right. Sure.
Please?
Yes. May I go to the washroom? We'll do it by syllables. Cha.
Cha.
Mut. Has.
Has.
Chamulhas.
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 O. Tsa.
Tsa.
Chik.
Chik.
O. Tsa. Chik.
Uza. Chik.
O. Tsa. Chik.
Uza. Chik.
To go to. Chi.
Chi.
Shuk.
Shuk.
Chi. Shuk.
Chi. Shuk.
Washroom. Chamulhas. O. Tsa. Chik. Chi. Shuk.
Chamulhas. Uza. Chik. Chi. Shuk.
Chamulhas. O. Tsa. Chik. Chi. Shuk.
Chamulhas. Uza. Chik. Chi. Shuk.
Let's do the response, 13B. Cha.
Cha.
Mo.
Mo.
The.
The.
It's.
It's.
Cha. Mo. The. It's.
Chamulhas.
Cha. Mo. The. It's.
Chamulhas.
Wa.
Wa.
Thak.
Thak.
Chi.
Chi.
Wathak. Chi.
Wathak. Chi.
Wathak. Chi.
Wathak. Chi.
Chamulhas. It's. Wathak. Chi.
Chamulhas. Wathak. Chi.
Chamulhas. It's. Wathak. Chi.
Chamulhas. Wathak. Chi.
How's that, Serena?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any others that you want to review now, Ms. Allison?
I just had a question about that sentence. Can you just take off shisha and put in like the word for home or park and river or whatever?
Yes, yeah, you can replace Chishup with the name of any location, and that'll be a good sentence.
Okay, that would be really hard to
Yeah, for home, there's a special word for going home, which is Wetshit.
Okay.
But for other things, say Mituni is the name for Victoria. Chamut Hasan Sachit Mituni, may I go to Victoria? Chamut Hasan Sachit Hisatuit, may I go to the gym?
We need the office. What about the office?
It'll work.
Yeah. Go to the office.
What's that?
There is a word for office.
Let's practice 12B. We'll do 12B and 14A together because they both have the ending ak. Chuwa akta. Okay, I'll say it. Uksatu akhen. Shall we take a break? Can anyone tell me what ak means? What is
Future.
ak?
Future?
That's right. Yeah, it's a future ending. You can translate it as will, like the English word will. Literally, uksatu akhen means will we rest, and wa akta means I will say. Okay, let's practice these two, 12B and 14A. Chu.
Chu.
Wa.
Wa.
Ak.
Ak.
Ta. Wa ak ta.
Wa. Ak.
Chu. Wa ak ta.
Chu. Wa. Ak.
How many people are struggling with the Q followed immediately by a lambda? Yeah, that is difficult at first, but it's a very frequent sequence in Nuchano. So the sooner you get comfortable with it, the better. Chu, wa, ak, ka. Okay, let's try 14A. Ooks. Tu. Hen. Ooks, tu, hen. Ooks, tu, hen. It took me a lot of practice to get comfortable with hooks to hen, but I did eventually get
Can you
comfortable with it.
explain what's happening in your mouth? It's like, so you go down here for the Q, right? And then your tongue kind of hits your tooth for the barlama. So how are you doing that whole part?
It's hard.
Okay, yeah, the three most difficult sounds in this word are the X, Q, and barlama, right? The front X is said in the same place as a K. Everyone say K, ka, 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 ka. Now put your tongue in the same place, but instead hiss. Ka, 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 ka. That's the front X.
Oh, that's here.
Well, that's I was trying to word that.
Often when we're trying to learn a sound that's not in English, there's a path to it from an English sound. The path that I usually take to get to the front X is a K. I take the English K, and then I just hiss it instead of making it plosive. Ka, ka, ka. And Q, you can also get to the Q through K. Q is like K but further back. K is made with the back of the tongue up here. Q is made with the back of the tongue up here. So this syllable is The Q is a little further back than a K. It's lower in pitch and it's a little rougher.
Say the K and the other one together.
The barred lambda is kind of like a T and an L said at the same time. Sheena and I were just talking today about the barred lambda. A lot of English speakers pronounce barred lambda like KL. A lot of people say kleko for kleko. And that's because in English, KL is the closest thing that English has to a barred lambda. But a barred lambda is not a KL. It's closer to a TL, but it's actually neither. It's neither KL nor TL. It's kind of in between.
What's the other one? Not the barred lambda, but the other one.
Barred L?
Yeah.
Yeah, a barred L is just like barred lambda, except the barred L is a spirant sound.
Okay.
So the barred lambda is a plosive sound, meaning it stops the air very briefly.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas the barred L is a spirant, meaning there's continuous airflow. So most people find one or the other of these two sounds easier, either the barred lambda or the barred L. So figure out which one's easier for you, get good at that, and then use that as a path to the harder one. Don't make the mistake that some people do of learning only one and using it for both sounds. Because the barred L and barred lambda are very frequent sounds in Nuchano. And if you can't say them right, then you're not going to be speaking good Nuchano. Do you want to practice any others of these before I put you in groups this morning?
What's the word for office if we're in a substitute office for washroom?
I call office mamukowit.
That's where you work.
Right.
Well, it's on the classroom or
I love you explain to us why. Mama is work.
They might be learning.
In the main office of our
Mamuk is working. Mamuk also means making baskets. Mamuk is like everyday busy work. And it's been extended to working in general. The way I say office is mamukowit with a Q. There are lots of words in Nuchano, including mamuk, that when they take endings, they take a slightly different form that ends in Q. And this is one of those words. Some people use the word mamukuit, using the same stem as the standalone word. And these are both good New Tonalth words. This one is more conservative, more reflective of the way older speakers speak, and this one is more innovative, more like the way younger speakers speak.
So what does the end part mean?
U is the same as the ut in Shisha. Ut or U means a place. The it means that it's indoors.
Okay, the place indoors.
And the names for most of the rooms in a building end in uwit. Mamukuwit is an office. Asabtuwit is a gym. Weichuwit is a bedroom.
Oh, you guys are sleeping there. You're blowing my mind.
Right. Tekuwit is a sitting room. And so, Serena?
Now, I thought the ending yuck with the hard Y was place, but I noticed that some of our words like nachapia had yuck as well, so am I incorrect?
Well, yuck doesn't have to do with places. It just means for the purpose of.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it can be used for places. I can't think of an example right now, but I think I have heard yuck used for places. But it's also used, hahopayuk, for example. But hahopayuk literally means for teaching, right? So hahopayuk can also mean a lesson or a teaching.
Oh, okay.
Or
I see it translated as the place of learning, but
yeah, there's nothing in hahopayuk that literally means place.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Whereas ut and u do literally mean place.
Okay, thank you.
Books, yeah. Is that office? I don't know. I'll show you later.
Okay.
It's written something different in our.
At the school.
The school.
Yeah.
The main word I've heard for library is nachat yakuish. So nachat yak for reading is a book. Nachat yakuish is an indoor place for books. A library.
Yeah. Just have the sound version.
So during your practice, I will give you, I plan to give you 15 minutes, which is a long practice. And but before I do that, I want to make sure that you feel comfortable enough with these to practice them on your own. Are there any others of the conversations 11 through 15 that you want to practice as a group before we break up?
Can you just write 14A on the board with like the lines between the syllables?
Yeah, broken down?
Yeah.
Sure.
Anything below middle.
No, the syllable ends up to the word on the beach. Because the syllable starts only with the
Syllables and Tonalth are easy together because each
Is that what you mean?
syllable has one vowel
Yeah.
and one letter before the vowel.
We can also break this into syllables.
Yeah, so one consonant before the vowel, or exactly one, and then there can be many things after that. There's
So
yes.
the root yes, unto is an ending that means something similar to the English word down in phrases like calm down, settle down, back down. It means to stop doing something. Off, future ending, will, and hang, root ending. So, let's see, Shane, I'd like to put you with Darren, and Caitlin, I'd like to put you with Pam. Allison, Pam, Caitlin with Jody, Serena and Cynthia, Lisa and Marnie, Zach, David, Moira, Brittany, Heather, Giles, and Angie and Mario. Did I miss anyone? Gina, are you alone?
I guess.
So I got Mario.
Then I'll practice with Gina.
Okay.
All right, so your goal is to practice all 5 conversations at least 3 times in both directions. And you have 15 minutes, so we'll come back together at 8:20.
Do you have any printouts for this one? For these?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any printouts?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Mario.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want
Back here.
paper version of the?
Do you guys want to go to
I'm gonna do a thing at school.
I gotta start with that. Are you gonna? No, I'm going to. Hey, you're fine. Are you gonna stay here?
Just Angie. Okay, so yeah, so I'll do A at first. And we'll do like we'll just do times for 11 and then hopefully I'll choose. Okay,
Yeah, well, we're going to close to the
we're gonna go to 12. Right, so every time we do I'll do A for that.
Say it again.
Wait.
You're making an X. You're making a. Oh, that's the part so take off the first bit of parchment. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so it's not further for I'm doing it.
Yeah, you're doing the apple.
Okay, so
Start over. You're right. Somebody recently skipped that because the end of that word is intimidating me, so I confused it.
That's okay, yes, okay.
One more time later. Okay, right now.
You can ask me the next time.
Second time. Shamut has Utsat Shishu. Shamut has Utsat Shishu. I'm gonna do it one more time. I finished it up. I did like a short E instead of a long one. Shamut has Utsat Shishu.
It's better.
Well, technically speaking, the syllable with chi and then technically speaking, based on what he said before in the fall, every syllable starts with one vowel, one syllable, right?
Closer to L than an So make it English. Your tongue is in the same position. Your tongue is in the same position. It's just a little bit.
Which is also a good thing to say.
All right.
Another rule of thumb I tell people is once you get through the description, you want to flex your muscles and do it. So I tell people to do it according to the script.
then you can go off that straight door. I'm not doing very well on the back gauge at the end. I'm not set at the start, but in there, I gotta slow down.
Get an excellent range.
Still making an
Go back up to my number 11 now?
Yeah, now you're gonna do H.
True. You're bouncing with the K instead of an S. K is a close-up sound, it stops the air.
Oh no, wrong one.
Sure.
Oh no, that's right. Okay, yeah,
It's quiet.
I'm doing that. Yeah, that's right. Chamu, the E,
You're gonna have to keep working on that.
not C. I guess you need to get the chi and you kind of combine some of the constant, I guess it's the everyday use.
Yeah. Like I'm doing at home, I've got.
So the pulls the eye down for convenience. Or height or
When I sit at home, I take it out of my,
you'll hear say what's the package?
Every day when I walk down the hallway,
That's a very common So it sounds like we need to practice it.
This one, the difference is it's after the. It's
Yeah, so it sounds like you're having to use your time now with the Bardell. So the Bardell is almost like a T, and the Bardell is a So if you try to start off with a T, so it's sort of like the C is a T. This is the T Bardell, the same way the C is.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll do hard.
It takes some time.
No, you don't have to do
Sometimes I have trouble hearing right sounds, so I try to remind myself. 35 comes here. 11 hours. The other 24 hours to do that.
Right, so I'll do it again.
Yeah. Oh, right. So when I saw, I can
You
remember.
looked at
I didn't see it.
the,
True,
like I did the first time.
You know, better use of my better than teaching you class part might be working with your I practice with
And I also.
Numbers are fine and they get to start telling my kids. Right, my favorite entertainment.
I was like, what's Jim's mom? Sounds me. And then I'm trying to remember the song, but now the song. So when I got to, someone says, Jimmy, I remember that, and then I'm like, word after word, my hand was down.
Yeah, T is made of much better. T is back and more around the summer theme.
Yeah, and for me, I have a visual. I find certain things, memory, like retention,
Sounds like you just pronounced it huge. It's just just need to running. Actually, I had so on that sheet.
What are you doing? Well, how far along are you, Russell?
I'm getting data. I think it's definitely at some point next year. I can probably
finishes everything. Graduating at the same. So it might actually
Needs to be human.
I think I
The Miranda is at the queue there.
I think I'm in a good
That just kind of, brings kind of a big interest. The whole Yeah, no, it's just how we're down some of these longer breathe in the middle of it, so we're not a breath, they just have nothing to say to it.
That was really helped me find
You want to practice? You want to practice? Very easy. Very
Just come back together. How many people got all the way through the 5 classroom conversations in both directions? How many people did it all the way through more than once? Excellent. Good. That's exactly what you should be doing with your time. Now I'm going to show you some ways that you can extend these conversations, and then we're going to do that again. And I'm also going to answer some questions that came up. So when Sheena and I practiced, thank you, Brittany. When Sheena and I practiced, we found that the sounds that Sheena's having the most trouble with, Sheena started teaching at New Jonathan ADSS in October, and or was it at the end of September?
October, middle of October.
And her pronunciation was really quite strongly English accented at that time. And she still has an English accent, but her pronunciation has dramatically improved. Teaching several hours a day will do that to you, practicing things over and over again. But she's still struggling with certain sounds, especially the barred lambda and the X. Fortunately, X is not a very common sound in Nuu-chah-nulth, but barred lambda is a very common sound. So Sheena and I got through conversations 11 through 15 in both directions twice. And then we worked on some of the sounds that she's struggling with. And if people are struggling with particular sounds, I'm ready to spend a few minutes talking about those. Let me tell you about a couple of rules of thumb that I use when we practice conversations this way. We've all been trying the method of repetition. We're learning these survival conversations by rote repetitions. We just say them over and over and over again until we know them. And that is not exactly our eventual goal. Our eventual goal is to be fluent speakers of Nuu-chah-nulth, which means we can understand new sentences we've never heard before and make new sentences that we've never said before. But I find that memorizing a few key sentences is a good stepping stone to get to that point, because it gives you something to fall back on. It increases your confidence, makes you sound more fluent than you are. It's just a useful tool. That's why we're starting with this. But it is not the only thing that we're going to be doing. The basic drill, two partners, A and B, repeat the same conversation at least 3 times. Your goal is to do it 3 times well. So if you don't do it well, you need to keep repeating it until you get 3 good repetitions in a row. Then you can move on. Once you get good at it, you'll find that you want to say more things. It's boring saying the same thing over and over again. So what I tell people is, when we're practicing sentences that are worth memorizing, and these are worth memorizing, do it according to the script at least twice. But if you do it according to the script twice, then on the 3rd repetition, you can go off script and say something different. So for example, when Gina and I were practicing, we did Chamot may I go to the washroom? You may, go ahead. The 3rd time she asked me, I told her, you may not. So I was stretching the things I can say, and that's very good practice. But you should always be sensitive. The person who's further ahead should always be sensitive to the person who's less far ahead. Don't go so far ahead that you totally lose your partner. It is good to go a little bit beyond where your partner is, because when you go a little bit beyond where they are, it pushes them to grow a little bit and learn new words and new ways of saying things. But if you go too far, then they're just going to be lost and confused. So you have to try to gain that sensitivity. The more you work with someone, the better you will know where they're at and how far you can go at each practice. So that's one rule of thumb. Do it at least twice by the script, and then on the 3rd repetition, you can go on. Another rule of thumb, Sheena was asking me how many times should we repeat this, and the rule of thumb that I use is because A speaks first, it's up to A to decide how many times we need to repeat it. So if you're A, you have the responsibility to decide, well, we've done this 3 times well, we can move on, or we need more practice, we're going to keep going at this. Okay, so A will lead, basically. Any other issues that you had with this type of exercise? Yes,
It's not an issue, but I was thinking, like with Quizlet, what I do is because I don't have anybody to practice going back and forth on this one and Quizlet, you can actually press the first one, like 11A. So Adam's asking you a question on that one, or it's either Adam or Ben, and then you answer the question. So I've been doing that at home, and you can do it every 5 minutes. I don't know how many times a day, but I think that works if you don't have somebody to speak with, because I don't yet. So that's what I've been doing.
Excellent. I'm so glad that's working out for you. You are a quick uptaker of new technologies.
Yes, I am. So Quizlet, I think maybe it would be nice if we could show everybody Lisa's the Quizlet and the things you can use it for.
Okay. Can I ask you and Lisa to present that next time?
Okay,
where's Lisa?
Okay.
Lisa and Angie?
Okay.
Yeah, can you, are you in touch? Can you talk about it a little bit beforehand?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good. So, and we'll set aside about 20 minutes for that.
Okay.
So
I
next,
don't think you need 20 minutes.
It won't be maybe 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
We'll
Yeah.
take 20 minutes.
Okay, so next Thursday, Angie and Lisa will give us a short presentation on some of the things you can do with the Quizlet site.
So have you sent the new one out, or is it the same one, right, that you've already sent out? Everybody has it?
I put a link on the Berkeley Sound page on bscoop.net. Here's the link right here.
Yeah.
And the last session, I invited everyone who come to the session by email. I invited them to join, but I think I have a suspicion that when that comes up, it might go to some people's junk mail. But because some people said they didn't get it, though I did send an email out to everybody inviting them to join. So
You don't, can you hit invite too, right? You can just
no, you can just go on, it's free.
And then it's super easy, just search Nutrama and then it'll pop up.
And then we could, if you want me to add on a group of words or whatever, just let me know. And
I'll do that then, because that's what I was wanting to do.
Add a group of words.
Okay, next I'm gonna show you some ways that you can expand on these
The pencil ones, this is
conversations.
a pencil.
Some of you are still trying to learn these conversations. Others of you know these quite well, and you're ready to do more. Sorry, Heather, did you have your hand up?
I mean, I did. I was just wondering if you wait in the 8:30. Not to like.
You're thinking, I think you're thinking 9 o'clock.
Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I was about to go on to 9 o'clock. So instead I will wrap up because some of you need to go. So next week we will do more, we're gonna go on to weather. I will try to send you some of the materials that you can practice with ahead of time, several days ahead of our class, but it might be late. We'll see. I'll do my best. And I'm also going to start trying to assess where each of you is at and use that information to decide what groups to put you in. And if anyone has any feedback about about the groups they're in, people you work well with, people you don't work well with, that you want to be challenged more, or that you need to be challenged less, please let me know. Yes, Allison?
The papers for today?
I didn't hand out any new papers, but all the ones I gave out last week are right up here, if anyone needs them. A breakdown of what? Oh, the moves. I haven't printed that up, but it's on Scoop.net. If you want to know where it is, just email me. I'll send it to you. Shoot, Hasika. Thank you.
Let's see if I can find it. That'll help me out.
I'll see you next Thursday.
If I could have a couple of people help me stand the chair, it would be amazing.
That's what I got.
Fine, I think I'm first for driving to your school. It's bad weather every single time.
Yeah.
Like last week was like horrible.
David?
Thunderstorm. Oh, thank you.
It's construction breaks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have it on our whiteboard.
Sorry, I was not sure if that was the same spot last time.
Were they?
Oh, never mind, you stacked them over there.
We're talking to super people.
So, they have different signatures.
Oh, okay.
Berkeley has separate endings.
Okay. Very cool. Because it's special.
Actually, yeah.
Wait, is that you? Yeah. I'm holding your kid's book class, right? I want to just call the parent.
Well, you can.
You're always welcome to come this side.
Right here?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I never had an 8th Avenue.
Yeah, they got it. Turn this off.
Put on some vocabulary.
You're never gonna get a lot of viewers from.